You are about to enter Gigi's world.
Hello and welcome back to the Gigi Naturals Homestead channel. So for today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to separate tomato plants. Sometimes when you buy starts, there will be more than one in a cell, or sometimes you may drop more than one seed in a cell as you are planting from seed. And so I'm going to show you how to safely separate those tomatoes so that you can grow them in individual pots and get the maximum amount of tomatoes that you can get from each individual plant. So I'm going to show you ones that I got from the depot just recently, and so stay tuned and let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Okay, so these tomatoes are looking a little bit puked and they are soaking. They are very, very, very wet up under there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by just snipping off the bottoms. We want to help this plant have some energy, and so I'm going to go ahead and snip those lower leaves off so that when the plant does get separated, it's still going to probably go through shock as I transplant them. Since they are having some trouble already. So I just want to take as many of these leaves off as possible so that it can focus on just producing new at the very top of the plant. So I'm just going to take all of that off of there, leave just enough so that the sun can still hit it. I'm going to move it around, find a couple of places a couple of times a day where the sun can come through and hit those leaves and let photosynthesis do its job. And in the meantime, this is going to have a lot less to work on since all of these leaves will be gone. It can just focus on producing new and producing new roots as well. All right, so here's one cell that has 2 of them in it, and so I'm just going to gently pull it up out of there, and that's what it is looking like. And as you can see right here, there are indeed 2 separate plants there. Okay, hope that is focusing well so that you guys can see that there are 2 plants there, right there. Okay, and so all I do with the tomatoes is I just kind of go as gently as possible in the middle, and I push down into the soil just like that. And you're going to break some, but look at that. You have 2 different pieces that still have full roots, and those are ready to be planted in their new home. So at this point, I'm just going to take a little of my tomato fertilizer. This is for tomatoes and vegetables. I'm going to take a little bit of this fertilizer. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of soil and drop it over into the cell where I'm going to put the tomato plant. And I'm just going to take 1/2 of that teaspoon, and then I'm going to drop that tomato plant right down in there. And just push it down and then backfill it with soil. And remember, when we're planting tomato plants, we want to make sure that we are planting the tomato deep so that it can utilize all of those roots that are running up the side of the stem. We want to utilize those. We want to turn those into mature roots. So plant that tomato plant deep and it will grow nice and strong for you. And so we'll do the same with the next cell. Let me put it closer. Same with the next cell. Put a little bit of soil in there and then take a half of a teaspoon of the tomato fertilizer. And then all we're gonna do, see this one still has roots. We're going to sit that right down into the cell. And then backfill with soil. That one's a little bit taller, but you can still push it down a little bit into your cell. Make sure that it's nice and firm in there, and you're gonna get a great tomato plant for that. So let's go ahead and do this one as well. We're starting to get some good roots on it, but all you need to do, let's do this again. So go in between the two plants and then push down into the soil. You're gonna have to break it a little bit, and then once they are separated, all you have to do is easily slide them apart and you have your two individual plants. Okay, a little soil, half spoon of fertilizer, mix it in, place your plant nice and deep, taking off all of those bottom leaves, and then backfill so that your tomato plant can utilize some of those fine hairs going up and down the stem of the tomato plant. Just like that. See how those roots are still just holding on there. I really lucked out on this tomato tray. You see the way that this plant was taking a whole bunch of nutrients from that one because they were right there in that cell together. So they really needed to be separated so that you can get the most for your money. That's what I'm about, getting the absolute most for my money. So we're gonna get these planted, and as they get a little stronger, I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them in a larger container. But I just want to make sure that before I use my containers that they are going to do well, they're going to grow well, and I'm not going to have to be replacing things because I'm transplanting weak plants. So these are looking pretty good, considering the fact that they were soaking wet. And so at this point, I'm not even going to water them in. I'm probably going to just give them a little spritz and not do a whole lot of deep watering just yet for these. So just give them a little spritz, and that's going to do since they are still really wet. Since the roots are still really wet right now. All right, so put those right down. And look at that, we made a brand new 6-pack. And that 1 pack, there were 9 total tomatoes instead of 6. So I had to grab that one for sure. Alrighty, so there we go. And I'm just gonna take that. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that on. So there we go. We have a brand new 6-pack of tomatoes, and I just mixed them up. These are 2 different varieties, but that's okay. I know that they're one of 2, so we'll find out once they kind of grow up, and I'm not so concerned about it because hopefully I'll get a lot of tomatoes off of here and get these canned up so that we can have some more canned homegrown tomatoes. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, when you grow it, you know it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.